malignancy in general. Though this is breast cancer awareness month that we are actually, the whole event has been organized as an event as part of breast cancer awareness month. So why breast cancer awareness month? Anyone has any idea? So breast cancer awareness month was a program. It's a month-long program. Okay, it's not just it's October. The entire month of October. You can use any day. It was actually initiated by the American Cancer Society, along with so it was organized along with pharmaceutical companies. Does that make you feel suspicious? A pharmaceutical company is organizing, has initiated this cancer awareness month. There are a lot of hypocrisies and a lot of conspiracy theories and so on and so forth. But what is important here is the intent actually. The intent, what really is the purpose of, how we use it as a tool. That is more important than this one. So the recent interest in philosophy is going to inevitably make some amount of philosophy creep into this whole project. Okay? So please bear with me on that. It's not going to be just breast cancer, it's going to be a little bit of philosophy also. So now the intent is what is important. Like a knife in a person's hand can be used to cut a vegetable, can be used to kill someone, can be used to defend oneself. So it is not the knife itself does not carry any purity or sin or anything on its own. It is the intent that goes behind it. So what might be the purpose of this particular awareness program? The most important purpose probably is to increase awareness. Okay, I come to it, but awareness, knowing that a tumor in the breast, a lump in the breast, or a swelling in the neck, or an ulcer in the mouth, or a mole in the skin that is growing, knowing it, that it might be a problem, it might be a major problem, is the single most important thing that has transformed the healthcare in terms of oncology. Recognizing it early that it is a problem is the single most important. Nothing else contributes as much as knowing that it might be a problem and then reporting early and then getting it addressed early. Okay? Because such awareness programs actually help us spread the message. So that is one major aim for this awareness program. The other important aim for this is to break the taboo. You already heard Suma ma'am told, Prashant sir told about their own experiences with their own family members. See, what I have to emphasize here is, it has a tremendous taboo. Breast cancer has a tremendous taboo. My own relative, now I am the third person who is holding this mic, and again we are going to talk about the same thing. I am the third person, and I can tell you my own very close relative was diagnosed of breast malignancy, and she didn't want it to be told to anyone in the world. To this date, other than her treating physicians, no one knows that she had breast malignancy. Why? There is a tremendous amount of taboo. Now, why did this taboo come? There are multiple reasons why the taboo comes. One is, for centuries, for millennia, cancers have been a very, very dreaded disease. Why? They don't kill you in a single shot. They slowly progress, but relentlessly they do so. They can't, there is no stopping. Unless you get them addressed, there is no stopping. If you close your eyes, the lion is not going to go. So, they are going to relentlessly progress and they are going to claim. And this progress is not going to be a pleasant path. It's going to be a very, very rough, very, very tough path for not just the patient, for the family also, for the patient caregiver also. Which is why it has carried a taboo. Like, this is not something exclusive to malignancy. Like, for example, once upon a time, leprosy had this taboo. If a person was a leper, suffered from leprotic deformities, then he was a social outcast. Same thing goes for HIV, and same thing goes for malignancy. And such awareness programs actually go a great way in breaking this taboo. Okay, so this is another purpose, and maybe the third purpose was it's actually a more important purpose, was to raise funding for research and development of treatment in breast malignancies. Okay, so that is the reason why breast awareness, cancer awareness month is being organized. Now we come to the topic proper. Why breast cancer? How does it come? Why would you get a breast cancer? Anyone can volunteer. I mean, to keep it interactive, anyone can tell your opinion. What do you feel might be the cause for breast cancer? Yeah. Lifestyle and food habits. Very good point actually. Lifestyle and food habits contribute a lot to development of malignancies. Once upon a time, malignancies were not very common. Say around 1930s or 1940s or 1900s or 1800s, probably malignancies were not this common. They are certainly on the rise. There is no doubting it. Actually, by the look of it, by this estimates, no. As of now, the Western world at least says almost 1 in 10, actually even less than 1 in 10, but I am being a little more liberal. 1 in 8 is what they say, but let us say 1 in 10 women in their lifetimes are going to come with breast cancer. This is the burden of it. I mean, just if you look into it in this hall, I mean, I am trying to be dramatic here. Why? By being dramatic, you kind of push the message in more easily into people. So, like just assuming that there were 100 here. So, what I am trying to tell effectively is that by the end of our lifetimes, 10 in this room will have had breast malignancy. Breast malignancy, not all malignancies. All malignancies are probably going to add up much more, but breast is one of the most common malignancies. Okay, so about 10 in this room are going to have breast malignancy. Just imagine the and it's not ending at that. The incidence is projected to increase. By 2050, it is supposed to be double of what it is right now. I really don't know how it is going to be that time, but certainly malignancy is on the rise, and lifestyle and do have a contribution. I can't say no, but basically the single most important contributor for our increase in breast, not just breast, malignancies in general is longevity. We have started living longer. Once upon a time, we would have, like a fracture would have been enough to kill a person. Once upon a time, say, lack of access to health care or something. Dog bite would have been probably been fatal. A rabid dog bite once upon a time would have been fatal. A small infection like H1N1, like if you look into Spanish flu, killed millions across the globe. So basically longevity was not as much as it is right now. But now, with development in medical science, the longevity has been much higher. Like for example, at independence, the average life expectancy of an Indian was 40 years. 40 years might be very, it can be potentially misleading. Why? Because it's an average. That comes to 40 because of large amount of infant mortality rate. Like people, I mean children at birth, they used to die because of poor access to healthcare and all. And that is why probably the average comes to around 40. But that was what the life expectancy was. And right now, what is the life expectancy in India? 67. Yeah, it's closer to 70. Okay, so now with increasing life, so this is one thing that you have to realize. Okay, you try to solve one problem, you create new problems. This is not related, this is not limited to medicine, it is across the field, any field, humanity for that matter. I mean, we are talking about pollution and we are talking about solving the problem of pollution. I mean, you try to solve one problem, you create new problems. Okay, so now what have you achieved? You have achieved longevity. Certainly, we have never been living as long, humanity has never lived as long as it is living presently. It has never had as much access to, say, comfort and healthcare and as it has ever in its entire history of humanity. But are we happy? Has anything given us lasting happiness? So whatever you do, actually if you talk at it from philosophical point of view, whatever you do, from blinking to getting married or whatever you do, it is for happiness, in search for happiness. It can be traced down in search for happiness. Either it is running away from unhappiness or it is running towards happiness. But what has given you lasting happiness? Okay, so this is philosophy, this is purely philosophy. What I am telling is, basically you try to search for happiness, you try to solve problems outside. It is likely to. For that you have to, the journey is inwards. Okay, this is purely spirituality, it is nothing to do with breast cancer or this one. But your happiness has to be inwards. The journey has to be inwards, and that is spirituality. It is not, most of us mistake religion to spirituality. Religion and spirituality have nothing to do with each other. Okay, but all religions, mandatorily, all religions, let it be Hinduism or Christianity or Muslim or whichever religion it is, mandatorily have answers to spirituality. They have answers to spirituality, and you have to follow these religions basically for the spirituality, not for the religion. It doesn't matter whether you practice the religion or not, but you have to answer what is the meaning, what is the purpose of this life that you are living. It is soon going to end. Okay, so this is philosophy again. So now why do we get breast malignancies? One reason we got longevity, lifestyle, longevity. What else could be the reason?
What we have read is that when women do not breastfeed their children, or when there is a late marriage, certain hormonal changes get to affect the breast. This is what people of your caliber have put it across to us.
Certainly, ma'am, that's a very good point that she, ma'am has told actually. Nulliparity. Nulliparity is basically not having children at all. Okay, late pregnancy. Pregnancy is beyond 30. And early menarche, late menopause. A prolonged menstrual cycle duration. No? All these have been associated with not breastfeeding. All these have been associated with increased risk of breast cancer. But remember here, it is a risk factor. Okay, there is no etiological factor in breast cancer. Like for example, are you people, coming from medical sciences background, you might be aware of Koch's postulate? Are you aware of Koch's postulate? Koch's postulate is a postulate that was put way back by Robert Koch on how you confirm that a particular germ is a cause of a particular disease. Okay, Koch's postulate. So basically it says that every person who comes with the disease should have the organs. This is the first postulate. The second postulate is that the disease, the person with the disease, you should be able to isolate that organism. You should be able to isolate that insult or whatever. The third is, if you put the insult to a third person, a second person, that person should suffer the same disease. And the fourth is, you should be again able to isolate the same organism or the insult from the newly infected person. So these are the postulates for infecting. So this can confirm that this is the cause for a particular problem. Okay, but when it comes to malignancies, there are only risk factors. Unfortunately, there is no etiological agent. There is a risk factor. Hereditary, familial breast cancers can increase. If there is a, do you know what is meant by first degree, second degree, or third degree? Are you people aware of it? First degree, second degree, and third degree. Basically, first degree, second degree, third degree is a measure of the genetic information that you share with within people. Like for example, first degree is basically 50% of the genetic material is shared. Like you share 50% of your genetic material with your mother and your father, with your sister or your brother. So they become your first degree relatives. So on. Second degree is basically 25% and third degree is 12.5%. Families, breast cancers can run in families. Okay, some families tend to have a higher risk of breast cancer. So these are all risk factors, but they are not etiological agents. Now when it comes to the points that ma'am brought out, like not breastfeeding or obesity. Obesity is basically excessive body weight, lack of physical exercise, or oral contraceptive therapies. Like for example, to prevent pregnancies, women tend to use oral contraceptive. All these are associated with a slight increase in breast cancer, risk of breast cancer. Remember, it's a slight increase in risk of breast cancer. It's not a significant increase in risk. So we use this measure called as relative risk. Now, what are the chances that an average lady can get breast cancer in her lifetime? 1 in 10. Approximately 1 in 10. If you took it as 1 in 10, and if you had all these exposures, probably it will become 1 in 8 or 1 in 7 or something like that. And just like it might be around, relative risk might be around 1.5, 1.8, max under 2. Relative risk will not be significantly higher, but certainly these things are associated with a slight increase in risk of developing breast malignancy. Okay, more important risk factors are, one is family. If your mother or if your sister or if your brother had malignancy, the chances that you will develop malignancies, the risk increases substantially. If there are two, the risk increases exponentially. And if the relative was of a younger age, okay, under say 40 and all, especially under 40. People under 40, if they develop breast malignancy, the family is at a significantly increased risk. Typically around 3 to 4-fold increase in risk of developing breast malignancy. But that does not mean that if your sister or if your brother has developed, brother also, it has been pointed out before, malignancies, breast malignancies do happen in men also, but it's a much rarer event. Like it is typically for every 100 women diagnosed, one man is diagnosed with breast malignancy. So, but what I'm trying to emphasize here is that if your family, some member has developed cancer, it does not mean that you are bound to get cancer, but the chances are significantly higher. So, the screening recommendations become different. Okay. Does smoking cause breast cancer? What do you think? Does? Anyone else? Any other opinion? No. Generally speaking, no. For us in our exams, if you don't know anything, you can tell smoking. Okay, that is something like that. Smoking does cause. It is associated with a small increase in risk of breast cancer, not a huge risk, but not like some other. But I should point out to you here that this is just okay. And again, I say just to make the talk more interesting, that there are some cancers where actually smoking is associated with a decrease in risk. Okay, lymphomas. That does not mean I am encouraging smoking. Please know, it causes far more problems than it reduces any. And we really don't know what, I mean the medical scientists really don't know what is the reason why lymphomas tend to be less in smokers. But yeah, there is a small decrease in probability of lymphomas among smokers compared to others. Anyway, that is not, certainly not the take home message, it's just a time pass. Okay. What else? Alcohol. Another, for getting extra point you have to tell alcohol also. Alcohol also causes breast cancer, and yeah, you're done. Okay. So yeah, small increase in risk of breast cancer, not a very high increase in risk of breast cancer. Another important risk factor is radiation actually. There are certain cancers that happen in children, and exposure to radiation among these children, young children, especially young children, under 15, that can increase the risk of cancer. Okay. So this is about more or less about causes of breast cancer. Any questions on this? Any other questions or any clarifications? What type of radiation can cause? So generally, when it comes to radiation, we classify them like this. Physics also should be able to tell. Physics and chemistry also should be able to tell. We classify radiation into radiation. Basically refers to electromagnetic radiation. And when you are talking about electromagnetic radiation, you have two types: ionizing and non-ionizing. Ionizing is the one which has the potential to bring about a chemical reaction. Non-ionizing is the one which cannot bring about a chemical reaction, but it excites enough to generate heat. Like for example, infrared rays and all are non-ionizing. Ultraviolet is weakly ionizing. X-rays are ionizing. Now, when ionizing radiation exposure happens, now automatically there is a risk of DNA damage. But now DNA is an extremely complex. This one now across there are certain mechanisms that have been retained across like species. Like not even I am talking about like from bacteria to this one, bacteria to multicellular blue whale. There are certain repair mechanisms and cell checkpoint mechanisms. I think the science, the postgraduate students in science will probably know this much better than I do. But they have been very well preserved, very well integrated DNA repair mechanisms. And these repair mechanisms see to it that whatever DNA damage is there is repaired. Or in case, worst case scenario, not repaired, the cell will undergo what is called as apoptosis. It commits suicide, commits hierarchy. So that is the mechanism that is necessary for a multicellular organism to replicate. And I mean, just imagine, all of us have come from one single cell. The origin, we all started as a single cell, and then now we are organism constituting billions, if not trillions, with a very, very high turnover. Do you know that there are almost like billions of cells which are being like replaced every day? It is not every hour thousands and millions are going to be replaced. It's like that is a kind of turnover that we see, and it is believed that typically around 4 years, you practically have no molecule which was there before. I don't know how true this is, but I'm just quoting this just to put forth the message that there is a lot of turnover that is happening in our bodies. We are very complex organisms, and the surprising thing is we don't get cancer. The mechanisms have been so beautifully preserved that the surprising thing is that we don't actually get malignancies, or I mean the reproductions are so perfect compared to like even your present probably your CD copying or DVD copying also will probably not come to that level of accuracy in terms of the data, the sheer data that is being transferred from progeny to progeny. Okay, so yeah, that is about this. So what might be the next question? We will go to the next question for interest of time. What might be the symptom?
Doctor, having a acidic body, does it increase or does it help? Because nowadays you find that having machines to alkalize water, you have more alkaline. If your body is more alkaline, the tendency to fight malignancy or the tendency not to get malignancy is now coming about.
As of now, I have encountered this question of using alkaline. There is a name for it. I don't know.
Kengen water.
Yeah, Kengen is the name, correct. So I have encountered this question once actually, but as of now, I did a search on that, and as of now, there is no evidence that alkaline water will help you prevent certain. I mean, offer you any major health benefits at that point. It won't offer you any major. At least there is no evidence that it offers any major health benefit, Kengen water. But I have to emphasize here, remember that your body is an amazing, amazing body. Okay, it's like how much ever alkaline or how much ever acidic, whatever you want to try to do, your blood has to have an extremely well regulated pH. It is between 7.3 and 7.35, 7.4. It can't be more. I mean, we are not talking about 8 is basically 8 is unheard of. 8 means that person is dead. 8 means that person is dead, or 6 means that person is dead. It is impossible for a person to live. So there are such beautiful regulatory mechanisms that keep your blood pH at this level only. It cannot be more, it cannot be less. Okay? Just the same as your core body temperature. It has to be 37 degrees. Okay? Your core body temperature cannot go. Your skin temperature can be less. If you go to a cold environment, your skin temperature can go less. But your core body temperature, no. If it goes down, it is hypothermia. And if it really goes down, it means that you are going to die. Okay? There is a beautiful it's called as homeostatic mechanism that goes on through your body. And so such similar questions actually come with respect to malignancies also. We are frequently asked that if I avoid sugar, if I have breast cancer and if I avoid sugar, I can, the chances of that breast malignancy going off will be high. It's a very, I don't know, it's a very archaic concept if you ask me, because it's not really difficult to kill the cancer. So if you are a cancer patient and if you want to kill your cancer, all you have to do is hold your breath. Hold your nose and mouth tightly, don't breathe for 10 minutes. The cancer will be certainly dead. And so will you be. You understood, no? The problem comes in saving the patient and killing the cancer. That is where the difficulty is. It is not that cancer is really difficult to kill or something, but it is killing without harming the sufferer. That is where the difficulty comes. And the problem here is that it is a part of your own body. Cancer is not a contagious disease. It's not a disease that has come from some mosquito or something. It is a disease that has grown from within you only. Something has gone wrong within you, and that has led to development of cancer, which is why it is nearly completely you only a little different from you. That is why it becomes so difficult to treat cancers. Okay? Cancers are going to be toxic. Until science is progressing, certainly it is progressing, so we don't know where it will reach. I think it's a utopia. I mean, it's just a wishful imagination to think that all problems will be solved and we will live immortal lives. So that's not going to happen. So So until then, I think we all have to refer to philosophy, to spirituality, and so on and so forth. When life is going to throw troubles at us, there is no doubt about it. Okay, this question, actually, I frequently encounter this question. Like, this question comes when you become a patient. Why? Why did this happen to me? I mean, it's not a question that I am asking to you or what you are asking to me. It's not a textbook question that you are going to memorize and you are going to write down on the exam. It is a question that comes with emotion. Why did this happen to me? Generally speaking, you will have that question when you have the trouble. Why is this happening to me? It can be because of karma, it can be because of whatever, it can be because of black magic or whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is, why is this happening to me? The emotional pain that comes along with it. Okay? And the truth is, the real truth is, it is not why, but why is the wrong question. I mean, I am not going to tell this to the patient, but the real truth is when. We want the world to go in this particular way, but it's not going to go in that way. 100%. Every single one of us in this room is going to experience troubles. That is life. That is the definition of life. Okay? So, hospital is a very unpleasant place. I mean, you just think about it. It's a very unpleasant place. Only one department which might come happily to hospital is anesthesia. Pregnancy. Okay? A successful delivery, a group of people who came for delivery, successful delivery, they are going to go with joy. Most others have not come happily. Okay? It's a very unhappy place. So they have all come with problems and we are there trying to solve the problems. Okay? So yeah, I think it's 4:30 should be end up. If we have questions, we can. I mean, I would have spoken more about screening and about. Okay, I'll just tell a little bit in brief about screening. Now, what is screening? Screening, now this becomes more relevant for women. It doesn't become very relevant for men in breast malignancies because screening can be done only for a common malignancy. You don't go screening for brain tumors. Oh, do I have a brain tumor? Should I get a CT scan? No. They're pretty uncommon tumors. You don't do screening for uncommon tumors. You don't do screening. You don't go searching for rare tumors. Rather, you go searching for common tumors. Like for example, say lung cancer, breast cancer, cervical cancer, colorectal cancer. These are all very, very common cancers of the intestine and all. So you do screening for common cancers, and when it comes to breast cancer, what is the screening tool? Very good. Mammography is the screening tool that is most commonly used. There are other tools like, for example, ultrasounds can be used, MRIs have been used, but the main tool is mammography. Okay. What is mammography? Mammography is basically taking X-rays of the breast. Okay. And when do you do this? See, remember, screening is not a joke. I mean, this is more for physicians than for the general public. So you got up in the morning, thought everything is fine. Let us search for what problem now to find, and then you go to the hospital. Let us find out if you have breast malignancy. Yeah, I mean, you understand the implication. You are perfectly fine, but you are going hunting for if there is any problem. So just imagine the implication of if it came positive. If that screening came positive, then just imagine the implication of that. So it's no joke. Screening is no joke, but at the same time, there is no denying that it has a benefit in terms of reducing breast cancer deaths. Okay, not a huge diminish. So it's easy for us to imagine that by doing screening, I can completely avoid breast cancer, or I can completely be cured of breast cancer. I can find it at the smallest stage, and then 100% I will be cured. No, it's not like that. There is no 100% in medicine at all. There is no 100% in life at all, actually. Okay, so screening is basically not being done because you have a problem. It is because you don't have a problem. You have to go because you are normal. If you are abnormal, then it's not a screening test at all. You don't have any problem, but you are going searching if there is any problem. There are two reasons for screening. One reason is if you catch it small. Mammography can find the lesions that are 2 mm, 3 mm. It's impossible to keep by hand. Okay? Screening can find that. And if screening, the idea is, the premise is that you caught it early, you will be able to treat it better. Okay? This is a very simple rule. If the tumor is small, the treatment is small, the side effects are small, the cost is small, the outcomes are much, much better. Okay, this is very simple premise. It doesn't need any great logic to tell this. If the tumor is big, the treatment is big, the side effects are more, the cost is more, and the outcomes are bad. So there is no, I mean, certainly screening has reduced the risk of breast cancer death. By how much? The relative risk is around 0.7, 0.8. Okay, it's not, don't think that it's like, if you have undergone screening, then the possibility is that you will survive your out, there is no way that you will die because of breast malignancy. No, not like that. But at the same time, certainly it reduces the chances that you will die because of breast cancer. And it's recommended that you do it after 50. Most people agree 50. Between 40 and 50, it is very questionable. There are some guidelines which recommend, like for example, American Cancer Society says 45. Europeans are inclined to say 50. So there is a variation in what should be done. And there is a variation in what is the frequency also. Okay, should it be once a year? Should it be once in 2 years? So the general recommendations are between 1 and 2 years. This is all for average risk patients. Okay, this is not for high risk patients. If a person in your family has breast malignancies, these guidelines don't apply. This is for the general public. Okay, for a general public who has no family history of breast malignancy, for them, you can choose to undergo screening. I mean, it's strongly recommended from the medical fraternity that you undergo screening beyond the age of 50. Between 1 and 2 years, you have to do it. Until the age of 75 is what they recommend. Okay. And clinical breast examination, ma'am already pointed out. Self-breast examination. There are multiple studies that have looked into self-breast examination, whether it can reduce the breast cancer death. Unfortunately, self-breast examination studies have been negative. But remember, self-breast examination along with mammography, it is not self-breast examination alone. So if you are not doing mammography, certainly it makes sense to be aware of your breast and aware of any abnormality. Okay? If you are aware of your breast, you will be aware of the abnormality, and any abnormality is not to be neglected. Especially if it is painless, hard, progressive. Okay? This is the classical symptom of breast cancer. Painless lump is more worrisome, painful lump is less worrisome. Painful lump is less likely to be malignant. Painless lump is the one which is more worrisome. Okay? And a slowly progressing, a slowly increasing mass. Okay? It's not a swelling that is going to improve, like yesterday nothing was there and today you felt it like that. It's unlikely to be too worrisome. But it continues to persist over the next 1 week, 2 weeks. Not only persist, it continues to grow a little bit. But it is painless. Very worrisome. Okay? But this is mainly among older age groups. In younger patients, like for example, if you are 20 or if you are 30, much of the audience that is there here, if you feel a breast lump, the chances are it is benign, it's not malignant. Okay? Malignancy increases more among older population, but that does not mean that young people cannot have breast malignancies. Like ma'am pointed out, very, very young people have also come, and for some funny reason, India seems to be having an increase in young population with breast cancers. We don't know why. I mean, not much research has gone into it, but yeah, young population with breast malignancy has certainly shown an increase in trend. I think I'll wind it up here for interest of time. Any questions are there? I can, yeah, please. Soil, is it? Soya. Soya. Okay. So
Also suggest some better food habits and lifestyle.
actually, see, there will be conflicting evidence. When you look, see, whenever you go deeper into a particular subject, you will find, invariably, you will find that it gets more and more confusing. Okay? Any subject. Invariably, you think from a distance, you think it's all clear, but as you go closer, it descends into chaos actually. So this is something that is going to happen irrespective of any field. Okay? And now when you brought about the soy issue, soy are rich in certain phytates and estrogens. I'm not very sure about them, but actually I remember coming across that they may be a little protective, marginally protective in terms of breast malignancy, but there may be other reports also which suggest. But all in all, with respect to diet, I have felt that there is no conclusive evidence telling that following a particular diet, let us say vitamin D, let me take vitamin D and then I will be free of cancer. No, it doesn't work. Okay? Or let me take aspirins or NSAIDs. NSAIDs for have been used as, like, actually there are some big reports which have suggested that NSAIDs are basically painkillers. Okay, painkillers that, over-the-counter painkillers that you get, they can reduce the risk of certain cancers. They have been shown also to reduce the risk of intestinal cancers and all. But please don't confuse. I am not recommending them. They will cause lot more problems than they will solve. Don't take any medicines assuming that will reduce your risk of breast malignancy or any other malignancy for that matter. All I have to tell with respect to lifestyle is healthy diet rich in fruits and vegetables. Does that protect breast malignancies? Not really. We don't have any evidence. But certainly diet rich in fiber, fruits and vegetables can reduce the risk of intestinal cancers. Certainly, there is no doubt about it. So diet good in rich in fiber and fruits and vegetables, a healthy, physically active lifestyle, and like a periodic de-stressing of yourself, maybe follow hobbies. We are all having a very stressful environment, right? Most of us are. I mean, one thing that beats all other fatalities is suicides. It is projected to increase like anything by 2050. One thing that beats really the rise of suicides is much more than anything else, especially among youth. So, de-stress yourself. I mean, yeah, life is there to enjoy. So,
What about vitamin K, doctor?
as of this one, I am not aware of any studies that have looked into vitamin K, but vitamin D and calcium have been considered. I am not aware of other vitamins also. Vitamin K I am not aware. I don't think there are any studies. But let me conclude the whole topic by telling that any particular, like by taking vitamin C, or no, there is no evidence that by modifying your diet substantially, you can increase or reduce the chance of developing breast malignancy. All I am telling is healthy diet, healthy lifestyle. That's all. A broad term. No medications, no this one that you should take or you should not take for reducing or increasing the risk of malignancy. Okay, so if nothing else, I will conclude here. One more point, okay, breast cancer is curable. Please don't think. Many patients come to us telling that, imagining, I mean, when you get cancer, you automatically assume that you are incurable. No, many of them are curable. Typically, in breast malignancy, presently around 5 out